Anything a human being despises, or anything a human being that doesn't want to happen in their lives or wants to stay away from, are represented by this fallen angelic consciousness that interfaces with us directly on a 24/7 basis via their demonic telepathy. So anything and everything that a human being wants to stay away from, or doesn't want any trouble, or doesn't want to have to do anything with that negativity, is these fallen angelic consciousness that is literally attached and latched to us and are a part of us. Hence, we have a lot of problems like illnesses, diseases, negative thoughts, negative instances in our lives, divorces, death of a child, etc. So all this is coming from the fallen angels. These powerful demonic fallen angelic consciousness forces that is using trickery to run this world, and using your body and mind and willing your consciousness and willing your everyday life, making all decisions for you. These forces are actually exponentially lower than you. And as humans, we have a far more better ability to perform our everyday tasks and to live our life in much simpler and more intelligent format than what these fallen angelic consciousness is providing to you via jobs and education and space and all of these opportunities. Any and every opportunities that you see in the mainstream is coming from the fallen consciousness, which is actually lower than your own ability. One of the most hallmark move of the fallen angel is to put black magic in your brain to make you think that simple tasks are difficult, or they will say, oh, you don't know how to do it, or this is really hard, you need our help, you need our assistance. So for example, they'll make the whole system of law very difficult with extremely fancy lingos, or tax returns, or even simple things like science and math. They make it really difficult. Or learning, they can make learning difficult for you to be like, oh, you need to come to school to learn. So they want you to rely on their system, and they want their system to be prevalent and successful. So they actually make your life difficult so that their system can be successful. So you become a consumer on their system. But our human system is based on intelligence and is extremely simple and very transparent. And our human system was always meant to be simple, as our Father had planned and intended for us, because the more complicated it gets, it is out of our control, and we do not understand higher intelligence or angelic consciousness level intelligence because we are not taught in that way, or we are not born in that way. We function at a different level, like it's like two different species interacting, like the fallen angelic consciousness shoving their intelligence down our throat, while humans are very intuitive. We don't need a lot of direct angelic knowledge. Like we just function via our environment and via our natural intelligence. So the angels in this temporary journey has really shoved their system down our throats. So the angels really pulled the human race into their system, into their way of life, which is more like mechanistic and nerdy based technology and science and space and numbers, that kind of stuff. Whereas humans, we are very intuitive, we are more soft, we depend on our own intelligence, and we don't know know stuff like the angels. They have knowledge of like the entire heavens. We don't have that. We just learn it from our environment, and we naturally acquire it, and we function at in a very elegant, smooth, natural way, almost artistic in expression, and we are creative. That's why the humans are less tacky and less corny compared to angels, the angelic consciousness, because they are much more mechanistic and have a nerdy take. For the fallen angelic consciousness, it is easier for them to disassociate because everything is mechanistic and they see humans at a very mechanistic, like how our brain works and how our body function works and what's sex. And for them, it's almost there's no emotional differentiation between a lot of those strong barriers that we tend to have and the natural knowledge that comes with being a human being of how to be a human being, while the angels are stepping in and telling us this is how you be a human being, and our angelic way of being a human being is better than your natural way of being a human being. So we are in this battle, and that's why we have so many genders and so many sexuality problems, because the fallen angelic consciousness is trying to forcefully integrate with us. So a lot of this war problems, trafficking, pedophilia, drinking blood, and all this disgusting experiments and science experiments using humans doing crazy, alien, unrecognizable, unsympathetic experiments that we see is coming from this fallen angelic consciousness that is totally disassociated, or they have never experienced a human consciousness, or they are not human, so they cannot be us. That's where the disassociation comes from and the disconnect comes from, because they are not us and they are of an angelic species that has fallen. So that's why the disconnect is so great, and some of these dark demonic stuff that goes on this planet is not recognizable by humans because it is the fallen angels. The demonic consciousness has its origin in heaven. That were once angels, or a very intelligent angelic consciousness that fell as being disobedient to our Father, and was cursed and put at its lowest levels. And that's what these demonics are, and they wield so much power and have so much intelligence, yet they are totally disconnected from what it means to be a human being, though they are desperate for us and they are desperate to be like us, act like us, sell us their agendas, sell us their ways of life, and telling us how we should be, while we are whole and complete and we have this whole planet to ourselves, while they are coming in and taking everything, taking ownership of everything and telling us how to live as a human being. This fallen angelic consciousness pretend to have their own reality in a space world or something, but they are fully invested on the human species and they have nowhere to go, nowhere to be except on this earth. And this is where they will all their power and ability. They have nowhere to go. This is the best shot they have, is this planet earth. That's why they want to be rulers and are kings, because they have nowhere else to be, because heaven's not going to ever take them back and earth will be soon kicking them out. But at this stage they are ruling this planet and they have nowhere to be except on earth, ruling humans and telling us how to live our lives, while they are extremely low in consciousness, and just the stuff that they do is so dark and demonic that cannot be explained, and their consciousness is totally fallen below humans.